Hello everyone and welcome back to the Vintage Freak YouTube channel. Hope you're all staying safe and keeping well. I often get asked about sourcing stock, so I thought I'd put together a video with 10 top tips about searching out the best stock you can get at flea markets or even car boots. So tip number one, first off is get there as early as you can. I know that sounds obvious, but I see people rolling up hour, 2 hours, 3 hours after the start of a flea market or a car boot, and quite often all the best stock's gone by then. So I know it's obvious, but try and get there as early as you can, and ideally get there while the traders or dealers are actually unloading, because that's when all the best stock's going to be available, and you'll probably face less competition to buy it as well. Also, in line with that, stay to the end. If you can, if you're able to, stay to the end, because a lot of traders and dealers are going to be packing up and they won't really want to take home all their stock. So it's a good opportunity to buy bits and pieces at perhaps less than you would have paid right at the beginning of the day or during the middle of it. Tip number two, when I arrive, I always do a quick lap round. That's to get ahead of the game, to get ahead of other buyers that are there, whether they're dealers themselves. So I have a quick scan round and pick up any items that catch my eye really quickly. A lot of dealers, you'll find, will set their pitch up and actually go for a look round themselves. And this again is to pick up as many early bargains as they possibly can. Top tip number three. Another little tip is to target known dealers, i.e. if there are regular traders or dealers that are at the car boot or the flea market and you've bought off them before, then I try and make the effort to visit their stalls very quickly. Not that they will put stock behind the table for me, but the chances are they're going to have stock that I'm looking for. So if you know where they are and they're always in a regular pitch, which does tend to happen, then make your way straight to them, see what they've got, and then start off on your quick scan round the rest of the tables. Tip number four, look out for house clearance stalls. Now these could be private individuals or businesses. With all due respect to the house clearance guys and girls, they're interested in shifting stock. They'll go in that previous week to a home and clear the lot, and they're going to want to shift it because next week they've got another clearance or 2 or 3 to do. So their priority isn't selling stock for the most money they can possibly get, although obviously they would like to do that. Their priority is clearing the stock at a reasonable price. You also find they have a wide variety and range of stock available. So they're really good. Stalls to focus on if you can identify them quickly. You can normally identify them because they've got 200 people around them as they're unloading their van. So you might be in a bit of a bun fight to begin with, but as long as you're polite and you're not pushing and shoving, you'll be fine. And you can almost guarantee most house clearance stalls you can get, you can pick up 1 or 2 really good bargains, whether that's furniture, smalls, or even larger items. Tip number 5, keep an open mind. I think that's important. It's all very well going there thinking, right, today I'm going to buy mirrors, or today I'm going to buy lamps or lighting. But if you do have a closed mind, you're going to miss out on some really good bargains. So although it's good to have perhaps some targets in mind, then always keep an open mind and take the blinkers off and check out as best you can all the stock that's there on display. I don't rule anything out, and I quite often surprise myself about what I come back with. Tip number 6, always make sure you look underneath the tables, behind the tables, to the side of the tables. Even if you can, without imposing on their personal space, if you can get a look in the back of the van or the car boot, which is invariably open, then try and do that. But whatever you do, don't go behind the table and don't approach the vehicle without permission. That's because quite often dealers, particularly dealers and traders rather than the home car booters or flea market people, they will keep stock in the van and bring it out during the day. And obviously you can't be at their table for the entire time you're there. So it's a great idea really if you can even politely ask them if they've got anything tucked away in the back of the van. Explain what you're looking for. Be honest and upfront if you're a dealer yourself in the trade, let them know. Or even if you're just buying for your own personal use. Just let them know, engage with them, start a conversation, and you'll find they'll be really helpful. And I think it's a good approach to take. Top tip number 7. Don't be afraid to sort through old dusty boxes that are scattered around tables. Quite often there's forgotten items that are left in the bottom of these boxes, and they can be really good buys and bargains. Don't be put off if an item looks slightly grubby or a little bit rusty. It can always be cleaned, bit of restoration, and again you can pick up bargains there. A lot of people will disregard the dirtier, grubbier items or the rusty items. So yeah, don't disregard them. If it's what you're looking for, it fits in with what you're selling, snap them up, because quite often they're cheaper than the sparkly new looking items. And with vintage or antiques, obviously they're going to show their age. So just make sure you get stuck in and don't be afraid of getting your hands dirty. Tip number 8. Another good tip is to walk around in the opposite direction once you've finished your first lap. This is because it gives you a different perspective on the stalls. You could well be walking around and an absolute gem of an item is hidden behind another piece of stock that they have on display. By walking in the opposite direction, you get a different angle of view. So you're going to pick up items that you missed on your first lap around. So if I can and I'm there all morning, I'll actually walk around 2 or 3 times, changing the direction of travel on each lap. Tip number 9. We all need to do some research now and again on individual items. So if you are going to Google an item, then walk away from the store. Don't do it in front of the dealer or the trader. It's just etiquette really. It's not polite, and they'll see what you're up to straight away. So if you are going to Google an item, walk well away from that store, and hopefully it'll still be there when you get back. But I'd definitely recommend doing that. I wouldn't stand there on my phone Googling the value of items in front of the dealer. It's not the done thing really. And finally, tip number 10. If you're interested in an item, ask their best price. When they give you that best price, don't haggle with them, don't try and lowball them. The chances are at a car boot or a flea market, the price is rock bottom anyway. So arguing over 50p or a pound or two, I think it's quite disrespectful really to the trader or the dealer. You may not agree with me, that's fine, you're entitled to your own opinion. Personally, if I've asked for their best price and they've given it to me, I'll either accept it or I'll thank them and walk away. So there's 10 very quick tips on buying at a car boot or a flea market. A couple of little bonus ideas as well. If you're going to be there all morning and you don't want to spend your profits, then take a sandwich with you or a flask of coffee, because buying food and drink from these markets can be quite expensive. Finally, I think the last tip I would give you is be polite at all times, both with other visitors to the flea market or the car boot, and in particular to the traders and the dealers. The chances are, if you engage them in conversation and you show an interest in what you're buying, you're going to get the best price. So if you go through life being pleasant, in my opinion, it will pay you back. That's it then. Those are my 10 top tips for buying at a flea market or a car boot. I hope you found them useful, and if you have any other tips or ideas that you can share with our viewers, then please leave them in the comments below. If you enjoyed watching this and you'd like more top 10 tips videos, that's easy for me to say, let me know in the comments below and I'll see what I can do. But most important of all, in these troubled times, take care and stay safe. See you soon.